Hi, my name is Jade Raymond, and I'm the producer on Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed has a lot of influences. The first influence is actually the actual history of the Assassins. We read a book about the Assassins. We're like, we have to make a game about that. Another big influence has been le parcours, or free running, which you see at the now it's getting super popular. Like in Die Hard, you see it. Like in the new James Bond movie, we saw that and we're like, oh my god, can we do that on could we do that on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360? Where you can climb everywhere and you can feel like one of those guys. And we're like, we're gonna try. So that was another big influence. And then we're also influenced by sports games, actually. So a lot of the controls when you're in a kind of chase or escape and you have the crowd running around, we've worked a lot on the tactile side of things, like bumping into the crowd and the physics and being able to tackle or push people out of the way. And that was a really big objective for the team, is really feeling that the interaction and not passing through characters, not having just characters in the crowd that stand there like trees. So we had a lot of influences. And then, of course, you mentioned Prince of Persia. Obviously, we have people on our team who've worked on Prince of Persia before. That's the core team from that. And you're going to see some of that style come out, like the style of the animations. I think you'll see some similarities. Splinter Cell, there are also some people on our team who've worked on that. And I think that, there the comparisons may be less so, but you're going to get comparisons, I think, to that. We've heard comparisons to Thief. We've heard comparisons to, all GTA, and I think those are all great comparisons, so it's a nice compliment. It's really exciting from a team's perspective and game developers' perspective to be able to be working on a new franchise because it's creatively really exciting. You don't have constraints. You can say, okay, what can I do on the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 that was never possible before? What can I push in terms of gameplay? You're not restrained by, okay, this is the way the character does, or this is the story we had before. So creatively, it's awesome. And I think that you're not seeing that many new franchises because games these days are such a big investment that companies don't want to take a risk. So I think a lot of companies say, okay, we know that this brand sells, we're going to make the next version, or we know that this type of game sells, we're not going to take any chances, we're going to make a clone of this other game with this different feature, which I think is too bad for gamers, because I think as a gamer, especially if you've just bought a PlayStation 3 or just bought an Xbox 360, those are not cheap. And I think as a gamer, you want to feel like you're getting a new type of game. So hopefully Assassin's Creed, we're trying to deliver that, some kind of a really new experience to gamers. I always wanted to make games. It was my dream since I was a kid. I played a lot of games. And so basically I decided that probably the best thing to do was learn how to program games. So I started out as a programmer at Sony about 10 years ago now, actually. And I started working on little games. I think when you get out of school and you're junior, you're excited to work in the game industry, and you'll just work on any game that you can. So I started working on games like Jeopardy online, and the licenses that Sony have. And then I moved over to EA, and I worked as a producer at EA on The Sims Online. And then I worked at a game startup too, because I'd done big companies. I went to try a little company, and then after that I moved to Ubisoft to work on Assassin's Creed. I think there are more than you'd think. On our team, there's the project manager in charge of animations is a woman. We have programmers, we have artists, we have textures, we have effects specialists. We have a team with a lot of really talented women. So I think, it's still not 50-50, but there's still, there are a lot of really talented women who are becoming, specialists in the game industry. Well, I loved Brazil. I was amazed at just how big the cities are, and it feels like a really interesting mix of European culture and North American culture and Latin American, and it's very diverse, and you feel all of the influences. I was really impressed. I went to Sao Paulo, and I was impressed by how huge that city is, and just there's a lot of industry, and I know planes are made in Brazil. There's a big airplane company, and but you really feel like you don't hear, when you're living in North America, you don't necessarily hear that much about Brazil other than like, oh, the events like Carnival or, whatever is, but, and you hear about Rio, obviously, but like you don't hear that much about Brazil as a big economic power or whatever. And when you get there, you realize a lot of stuff is happening in Brazil. It's like very fashion. Oh, I bought this shirt in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I bought this. This is a Brazilian designer. Yeah, and I like the clothes there a lot. I bought like a lot of stuff. That's funny. I just realized I'm wearing this. Yeah, and then I went to Praia de Roça, which is in the south near Florianopolis. I also went out of the big cities, and it's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful. The beaches and the people are also very nice and very good looking, and so it's a good place. Hopefully, if Assassin's Creed is as successful as it looks like, if people like it as much as the buzz is going and stuff, then we'll get to make an Assassin's 2, and maybe I'll get an opportunity to work on that, or maybe there'll be another opportunity. I don't want to plan too much. I think we'll see what's available when that's done and what kind of offers are there. Oh my god. I don't think of myself like that at all. I mean, I don't know. I don't think of myself like that. I mean, it's funny because, I started out as a programmer, so I think of myself as being like a nerdy person, and like now I have a job where I'm a producer, and part of my job is talking about the game, and I love it because obviously I'm super passionate about the game I'm working on, but like that's funny to hear. I don't know. I don't think of myself like that.